We are starting a webinar. With us is Somdev. Somdev is a PhD scholar from JNU. He has also done his master's from JNU itself. He'll be guiding you and answering your questions. Now, Somdev, you can take over and answer the queries which these aspirants have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So my name is Somdev, and I'm currently pursuing my PhD in Center for English Studies in Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. I've done my master's from JNU itself, and I cracked CVT PG in 2023. So ours was the second batch. So CVT began from 2022. So we were the second batch, and in our times, 100 questions used to be asked, and now 75 from the domain and 25 from um, the research, aptitude, and reasoning, math, GK, current affairs, etc. Now those 25 questions have been removed, and only domain 75 questions are asked. So little bit of less difficulty, but nonetheless. So as you know that we are offering this crash course for CVT PG, which is scheduled just a couple of months later, and it's in March 2026. So this is perhaps the high time that you put your feet on the pedestal and accelerate your preparation. Uh, as you know that if you see the NTA prescribed syllabus for the CBT PG, it's a very diverse syllabus. And as I often say, and I also have had discussions with my own peers in JNU, and we all agree that unlike UGC NET, and when I'm saying UGC NET and CBT PG, I'm specifically, categorically speaking about only English subject. I'm not talking about other subjects. Unlike UGC NET, CBT PG does not want to measure the depth of your knowledge as much as it wants to measure the width of your knowledge. That is how much you know, how diverse your engagement is with the subject. That is how much are you in love with the subject. And when I'm saying when you are though you are appearing for CVT PG English literature, it is no longer, as you must have understood now, that it is no longer the classical English literature that starts with capital E per se. It is no longer British literature, it is no longer Irish literature, but it is literature in English that covers Australian literature, Canadian literature, African American literature, Asian literature, literature in English in India, but not only in India, but also in other parts of the countries, in European languages, but also translated into English. So it's a very diverse set, eclectic kind of discourse that we are engaging into. And the overarching, overwhelming question that often perturbs the students, that is it possible to, cover the entire syllabus, and that too within 2 months? That we are offering a crash course, not a full-fledged 6 months course. So why a crash course of 2 months per se? So those students who are in the webinar, and those who will perhaps watch it on YouTube and once uploaded, if we can separate this or divide this entire segment of students in two parts. One who are very serious and who started their preparation long ago, say 2 years, 1 year ago, and the other part is that who perhaps were busy with other kind of stuffs, and mainly with the syllabus, their own university and colleges curriculum, and now they think that okay, this is the time that they should accelerate their preparation. So for both sets of students, the crash course is very important because it provides you revision one, and the two is that it provides you like this mock test that is very important, I think, to crack any multiple choice based questionnaire, and CVT being one of them. Is extremely important that you participate in this mock test. Now, talking about the prescribed syllabus that NT has given, you can just see it in their own website, and I believe we'll, of course, share it in the Telegram group also. So there are sections, and the main major focus thrusted upon section is, of course, history of English literature that students all worry about. So you know that there are many, many books about history of English literature, and when we talk about history of English literature, there are two kind of separate domain that we are talking about. One domain often goes kind of under the radar. The main one culture into, say, Andrew Sanders's book, Edward Albert's book, Routledge's book. Then there is, of course, David H's book. There are so many books, right? What the other part is that it is not only the history of English literature per se, but it is also the history of the social condition of England at that time and its gradual changes, right? So for that social condition, and then there is this history of English literature that is produced in those social conditions, right? So who are the kings and the queens, who ruled in which era, and what major events, social events happened in those eras, that are equally important as much the cultures and literatures produced in those eras are important. So okay, so for that social condition part, there are also a lot of books dedicated to that part only. Majorly two books that are often referred to are, one is by Bibhas Chaudhuri, published by Atlantic Books, and the other one is that Padmaja Ashok's book, which is published by Oriental Black Swan, and is a very short 150 pages book. You can refer to it. And then again, there are so many books, as I said, Edward Albert's book, Andrew Sanders' books, Rutledge, and David Dace's, so many books. But because there are 2 months left, so I'm very much into this 2 months time, because there is practically left there. So I often suggest, and again, I have been in discussion with this on my peers and my own classmates back when I was preparing, and many of our own college professors also suggested that these books are often, apart from Routledge, I guess, these books are not that much up to date. So we were suggested Michael Alexander's book, which is published by Pearson. It is, say, 340 pages book, around that, and it's a very consolidated book. It's concise, precise, and it's perhaps the perfect one with up-to-date and upgraded materials. So you can refer to that. And apart from that, often I also suggest, and I was also suggested when I was preparing the book that is for UGC Net, that is Aryan Publications book of UGC Net, paper 2. There's a humongous voluminous book. It's more than, say, I think, a 900 pages, 1000 pages book, but it's for UGC Net. Okay, so but one limitation. So often those who are the very top tier students, so-called top tier students, they are told that you will eventually sit for the net. So why not preparing for now on, right? You can, if you prepare for UGC Net, of course you will be preparing for CBT PG. But I think there's a very misconception here, because the one fundamental drawback from that UGC Arianth Net book, that is the paper 2 book, that is a thick, humongous book, that is that it does not divide its chapters into age-wise, but rather it focuses on genres. If you see the contents of that book, so it takes poetry, for example, and it starts from the Chaucerian age, and it gradually goes from Elizabethan age, and neoclassical and romantic Victorian, and so on and so on. Then it takes drama, then it takes say fiction, so then it takes non-fiction. So not age-wise, but rather genre-wise. So it is very important now. So again, why I deliberately took this digression into the UGC Arianth Net book, because many people might think that rather than now, because there are 2 months left, rather than going into a full-fledged book, textbook kind of thing that I just mentioned, a lot of textbook of history of English literature, they might just take some, take some subscription of some other platforms which are offering notes for CBT PG per se, and they will not offer this kind of textbook kind of thing, but they will provide you material, say like a list of books and their authors. So this kind of information which they want you to mug up, they want you to memorize and then vomit up in the examination center when questions are asked. So I'm not suggesting that kind of approach, because in CBT PG, if you look into the previous year questionnaires, which are, I would say, rather very easy going, even then CBT PG in English is highly anecdotal. That is, that it of course will ask you very silly questions. For example, we were asked in our time that which of the following is not a Shakespearean tragedy. This is, and they said that 12th Night and Macbeth, and then Comedy of Errors, and some other thing. And so it was very silly question. Like everybody, layman will say that, okay, Macbeth is a Shakespearean tragedy. Now this kind of question will come, but other kind of questions will also come. For example, we were asked that for example, Ruth Prawat Jawala wrote a book, short story book, at the end of the century, and Anita Desai wrote the preface of that book. And Anita Desai wrote a, say, 3-4 pages preface of that book. Now, many of us didn't know about who Ruth Prawat Jawala was, because she's not that much canonized in India. And who is to read that version, that edition of the short story where Anita Desai wrote that preface? And so they've just culled out one sentence of that preface and said that Anita Desai wrote that preface, and about whom? about whose work. So this was the question. This is anecdotal question, okay, and anecdotal questions will come, and so these kind of questions are asked to test the love for literature, that how much you're engaged with the, how much endearment that you hold, you possess for the subject literature per se. So anyway, so that is what I'm saying, that rather than going for material based, notes based study, that is the informations that you will mug up, of course at the end of the day you will have to memorize some things, of course, and most of the things per se. But rather than going for that solely for the 2 months, you should stick to one textbook at least, and then you can, broaden your horizon of the informations. Now again, to talk about, so as you know that if you read the we went through say 8 to 10 history of English literature book in our graduation. Now if you read the each of the books, some books have some sections which are better than the others. So of course it has been true for all other subjects, I guess, also. Now so I generally suggest this, that from the Chaucerian age to the neoclassical age, you should follow Edward Albert's book. From romantic age or pre-romantic age to the modern postmodern, you should follow Rutledge. And for the entire section of history of English literature, you should follow Michael Alexander. So if you do not have any time, just follow Michael Alexander's book on history of English literature. If you have time and if you think you can cover up more than that, then you follow, of course you have to follow Michael Alexander. Then upon following that book, you should follow Edward Albert's that section, that is from the Chaucerian age to neoclassical age, and Routledge's version, that is from romantic age or pre-romantic age to the modern postmodern age. So three books that are I often suggest to the students. Now that is history of English literature. Now, of course, as I said, history of English literature is not only limited to the classical British literature, but also the Irish literature within the English literature per se, Irish, Welsh, and Scottish literature, which often are already navigated in these history of English literature books. But rather than the offshoots of the English literature, then Australian literature, Canadian literature, African American, American literature is a major domain for question cultivations, and then coming back to, and of course the European literature, French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, okay, and Asian to some extent, Korean and Mandarin. And now coming to the Indian literature in English, which is a very major focused part in CVT PG, I guess. So for the Indian literature in English, I often suggest that now you have to go back to UGC NET Arian's paper 2 book. Now, why I'm going with, now there are also books by Mehrotra's book, there is P. Lal's book, okay, but they are very thick book right now, and for 2 months of time, I don't think that one would have time to go through the entire book. So for now, for Indian literature in English, you should go back to information based. So initially, I suggested, as I said, that for history of English literature book, you have to start with a textbook so that you get your information contextualized. For Indian literature in English, now I'm suggesting that you should go information based. That is to go for that who wrote which book. And of course, I think Adian's UGC paper 2 book is an excellent choice in this matter, because I think it is very concise, 20 to 25 pages of solid concise informations that you need for the CVT PG in English. And then after that, there are also some materials that I also intend to provide during the crash course. But for Indian literature in English, Arian's paper 2 for UGC NET is an excellent choice. Now, when we are talking about Indian literature in English, we have to talk about the Indian literature in English which are in translations. There is a major focus. Now, I think in couple of years ago, in 2024 CVT PG, there were direct questions from the translation studies itself. Now, as you know, the translation studies is not taught in any of the conventional canonized curriculum in Indian universities and colleges. We ourselves were not taught. We were asked a few questions regarding translations, and many of us left those questions. So you cannot possibly go and start reading translation studies book, theoretical books right now. So it's true for the linguistics also. I mean, linguistics, one or two questions might pop up, and you might think that, okay, you have to go and start studying linguistics. It cannot be possible. Okay, so for these courses, you just need to memorize some of the very key, authors and their text, Chomsky and Shashore and Pierce for that, and that will do, because these are not. For example, there is separate MA literature altogether for linguistics. There is all separate MA program for comparative literature. There's separate MA program for linguistics, as I said, and translation studies as well. So there they are trying to, they will measure the in-depth study of those discourses. But for English literature, PG, CVT, PG, questions might pop up, and they have come in the earlier questionnaires. So what I'm suggesting is that, so coming back to the Indian literature in English in translation, so this is extremely important because 2 3 questions might come directly. So what you need to do is that not only focus on the texts which are originally written in English but also written in vernacular languages that then have been translated into English, particularly the Dalit literature part, where most of the text, almost 95 to 99% of text, not 100%, have been written in regional languages in the Bhasha literature, say Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, Bangla, Hindi, and then they have been translated into English. So please remember the translator's name whenever you are encountering a text in translation. Please do so. Now, just because of the statistical ground, on the base of statistical ground, I'm saying just please focus on the canonized classical text on Bangla literature, Hindi literature, some of the Gujarati literatures, and some Marathi literature, which are canonized and well celebrated in their regionality. So, and say that, and so for example, who translated Rabindranath's text, major text? Who translated Munshi Premchand's text? Who translated Mahashweta Devi's text? Okay, so who translated Saraswati Chandra in Gujarati literature? Okay, so these are major canonical landmarks in Indian literature, in vernacular Indian literature, and they have been indeed translated into English. So who translated those works? It is extremely important. Now, so is the important discourse of film studies. They are not going to ask you in depth on any questions related to film studies theory, but rather the adaptations part. Now, adaptations is extremely important on the Shakespearean discourses, that who adapted Shakespeare's plays into Indian context. Of course, Vishal Bhardwaj is the towering figure, but there are also films made in regional dialects, regional languages. For example, Malayalam languages adaptations, Bengali adaptations, Gujarati adaptation, Marathi adaptations, and also Hindi adaptations, and the English adaptations also by Indian directors. So, so please focus on the filmography of these few towering Indian film directors, namely Satyajit Ray, Ritik Ghatok, Mrinal Sen, Bapun Sinha, Mani Kaul, Guru Dutt, Ritu Porno. Please focus on this the overview of these film directors, and and also that the adaptation, the adaptations, that is what I'm suggesting is that, for example, our in our batch in 2023 it was asked that who wrote Pather Panchali, and of course Pather Panchali was adapted by Satyajit Ray, but who wrote Pather Panchali in Bangla? Vibhuti Bhushan. Now the question might come that who wrote say Suraj Ka Satwa Ghora in Hindi, and who adapted that into the big screen. And of course, not only that, but also who translated these texts into English. So that is what I'm saying. So Indian English literature is a vast domain, and it's a booming domain. Okay, it is the most trusted domain, particularly for the few years of time. You can see that this is the most cultivated field. And what I'm saying, that if you just see the field, the subterranean forces are that film studies, the adaptations are made through translations, and I mean that who translate the original text. So these are very important things. Sanskrit poetics is also very important. uh, I mean, Sanskrit, when I'm saying that Russia theory is of course important, but also the I mean the darshans, that is the philosophy, Indian philosophical text, that is also important. So please, now you cannot, when I'm saying this, you cannot, now the information based reading is important. Now the notes are important. That is what I'm saying. So for the history of English literature, you need to have a textbook. But for the Indian literature in English, which includes translation studies and film adaptations, and the Sanskrit poetics and Indian philosophical text, and also the Indian classical dramas, who wrote these and who and which was published when, and accordingly chronologically. Now the information-based reading is required. So now we need to let's say serialize and notes for that, and then you prepare your readings. Now, after that, the major, again, the most worried part, that often the students are saying, the literary criticism and literary theory part. Now, before that, one should also talk about the literary terms, right? So, as you know, the M.H. Abrams book is the most popular book, and is rightly so. You can absolutely refer to that book, depend on that book. If someone is saying that, okay, everybody is reading M.H. Abrams, is there not any other book? Yes, there is also other books. So Rutledge had this one book on literary terms, and there is also one book by Dictionary of Literary Terms by Penguin. So you can refer to that, but it is not needed. Okay, it is not needed. Again, how to read the M.H. Abrams book? Again, M.H. Abrams Literary Terms book is also thick book, right? Often many people might find it intimidating that how to cover the entire thing. So what I suggest also that, for example, there is an entry called dramatic monologue. Now, when you are reading that dramatic monologue entry in M.H. Abrams' book, you will also go through the simultaneous poems, which are dramatic examples, dramatic monologue, and go back to the history of English literature part, so that you can connect it to. That is what I'm trying to say, is that connections, intertextuality, and intersectionality is extremely important in your total grasp of the domain, that is the English literature. And by the way, when someone is talking about poems, so please say 60 days are left, say for example. So each day please read at least two poems. Why I'm saying that? Because the questions might come directly quoting the lines of the poems and say that who wrote which lines. Okay, and if you know that, okay, this poems was Sailing to Byzantine was written by WES, but they just quote some line from the middle of the poem, and you cannot answer that. So that is why I'm saying, please, and it will not take any time. It will take no time practically. Okay, but please make it a habit. And I'll be happy that if you continue this habit till the end of your life. But please read at least two poems, for the two canonical poems, for example, for right now. Okay, not to just any poem, two canonical from the English literature part. Okay, two canonical poems which are taught in syllabus in your universities, in your college, for the next 60 days, and try to remember the essence of the poem, also the very famous lines also, because they can directly quote. And I'm saying these minute things because they will matter at the end of the day, because one question, and your ranks will be up or down. That depends on the one question. So now coming back to the I mean English, literary criticism and literary theory part. So I have been again saying this, and this is the perhaps the common dictum among our peers also who cracked, uh, I mean, CBT, PG, and the subsequent batches that are in JNU, that literary theory is not that much important. When I'm saying that much important, that is in-depth study of literary theory is not important for CBT, PG, because in most of the universities in India, literary theory is taught for the MA part. That is, literary theory is taught in master's level, not in graduation level. Okay, in the very premier institutions, literary theories are introduced in the bachelor's level, but in most of the universities, literary theory is stored for the master's level. Even in JNU, we are offered a separate literary theory course in master's level. Okay, for that doesn't mean that we should absolutely do away with the literary theory part, but main focus should be literary criticism part. And literary criticism, I mean, it begins from Aristotle, Plato, Longinus, Horace, and all the classical Greek and Greco-Roman thinkers, Saint Augustine, and etc., etc. Then coming to the even the individual, like for example, the Romantic poets, they also wrote a significant amount of not only Romantic poets, but the Renaissance people, the Elizabethan period stalwarts, they also penned a significant amount of critical essays. Those also comes under the literary criticism parts. For example, Samuel Taylor Coleridge wrote, Matthew Arnold wrote, P.B. Shelley wrote, Keats wrote, Wordsworth wrote, right? They wrote a significant amount of critical essays, their own theories about poetry, their own theories about creativities, and you all have to must take into account all these things, because these are the things that they want you to study in depth. So there is a preparatory ground for going into the theory part, right? Which is stored for the MA level, as I said. So literary criticism is extremely important, as I said, and you cannot do away with all the classical Greco-Roman thinkers, and ranging from that, as I said, I just named from in each ages. Like for example, Pope, Dryden, they also wrote significant critical essays. Philip Sidney wrote. So please refer to their own canonical, I mean, uh, their own critical essays. And when I'm saying, so for example, you cannot read Apology of Poetry entirely. or you cannot read culture anarchy entirely right now, right? So you should, right now what you can do is that just see the salient features of those essays or books and try to remember that. So for example, in our batch in 2023 in the CVT PG exam, one kind of also assertion reason question came, and one of the questions were directly not quoting but directly referring to some of the ideas of Longinus. Now Longinus is not taught in our college, was not taught in our college and in so many colleges, of course, for example. So it was kind of a it was not possible to answer that for surety. We had to make a guess. No, that is what I'm saying, that so they might just quote some direct lines. Okay, that is, this is where the CVT PG questions become tough, right? They will directly quote lines from the essays and they'll say that who wrote these lines. Now they will not directly ask you the names of the essays or their authors of the essay, but they will just ask you the who wrote these lines. Okay, there the questions become kind of tough. So after that, of course, in modern period, the criticism part become much more concise and yet complicated. And you must focus on almost all the essays by T.S. Eliot and Virginia Woolf. They are extremely important. At least the name, when I'm saying that you should take into account, you need not to read the entire essays right now. You need not to take the sacred wood by T.S. Eliot and or the common reader of original and start reading them outrightly. That there is no time. But I hope that you are being taught some of the essays of these authors in your graduation level. You have some ideas, but you have to remember the names of their major essays. Okay, for example, in which of the essays T.S. Eliot introduced his idea of objective correlative? Now, it is a very tricky question. Was it in traditional individual talent or was it in Hamlet and his problems? Okay, so these are the tricky ones. So if you have not read the essays again, chronologically for this example particularly, you might be confused, like in which of the essays the term was first used or the concept was first introduced. So that is what I'm saying, that please focus extremely thrust your focus on the literary criticism part, not you can, of course. So for the literary theory part, what you can do is that very cursory emotive reading of say literary theory, and what you will be expected to know is that, again, now here again the information part comes up, that uh, the writer of the text, so who wrote S by Z, who wrote of grammatology, who wrote this, who wrote that, that might come out with very cursory or the overtly known phrases, like there is nothing outside the text, who said this term. Okay, so this, and again the thing is that when we are talking about this entire section of literary theory part, you must know that this entire literary theory and almost everything came from either the French writers or from the German writers, right? So they were translated into English. So this is the thing that I'm saying, that whatever text, literary theory text you are reading or you have the reference to, somebody must have translated them right into English. Please remember the translator's name. Please, for example, there, because Derrida's who is the major figures, who are the major figures in the translations of Derrida, who is the major figures in the translation of Foucault, who is the major figures in the translation of Barth. So please know that, and also please take into account of the major philosophical text, like for example Critique of Pure Reason by Kant, Being and Time by Heidegger, and there are so many, right? So please remember the continental philosophical text, and if possible, their translator's name. But please do remember, you have to remember the translators' names of the literary theorists. For example, the overtly known, much discussed is that Spivak translated of grammatology, right? So Spivak, we all know Spivak's names because she is of Indian origin. So of course, but there are also some other texts. There are so many texts, and there are other translators as well. So please do remember their name, and they might just ask it and say, okay, I did not think about that. But the thrust has been to culturally situate the translation studies in the same pedestal of the literary studies. Okay, so please do remember about that. Now, these are likely. So also, please, often questions might come from the popular culture uh, site. Okay, so please do not ignore, say, Chitra Banerjee, Dibakar Venus. Do not ignore Chetan Bhagat. Do not ignore Durjoy Dotto, because they are recent publications. Do not ignore Amish Tripathi, Devdutt Patnaik. Okay, because they will eventually become the canon of this era, which is a popular cultural discourse. So also look into the recent publications of these authors, and whoever is publishing, worth noting maybe. So please look into that. And so yeah, these and also please look into some of the graphic novels as well, graphical narratives as well. They might also come, and so these are more or less the I mean the parts that you need to focus on. Regarding the patterns of the questions, so there will be, of course, straightforward, um, one to one, like single answer questions. There will not be multiple answers, multiple correct answer questions. There will be only single correct answer questions, but there will be column matching. So column matching you should know, and then there will be assess and reason questions. So these you have to practice. Say you have to take some mock test also and practice, and then at the end of the, so from 60, so as I said, 75 questions are to come, and from 66 number question to 75th number of questions, there will be two passages. One is in a prose and one is in a poem. So there will be comprehension, right? So I suggest that you, as soon as you enter the examination hall and the questions, you get access to the questionnaire, you go straight into the comprehension passages and do all the 10 correct. And then you become, you focus on the remaining 65 questions. Okay, so yeah, so these are the things that I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions now, I think we can take, because it's almost 36 minutes. Yeah, so yeah, I think we can take the questions from now. If you have problem in speaking, you can just write in the chat box. You can directly switch on your mic. You can raise your hand, whatever you want.
Also, one more thing. In 4 minutes, the meeting will end. We'll send the link of next meeting on a Telegram channel. If you are not in the Telegram channel, I have pinned the link of Telegram. You can join through that link. Now you can ask your questions.
Yeah.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
Well, all the things that you mentioned, do you really think like we can cover if someone has not like started his preparation like a year ago or like 2 years ago? Do you really think that that person can, cover all this in upcoming 2 months?
Yeah, I mean, practically speaking, if one invests two solid, sincere hours for this next 60 days, yes, they can. They can. It is not that much of rocket science. Yeah, they can. If I mean, yeah, strategies are implemented, right? Strategies are implemented, they can actually. I mean, I have
Yeah,
so many friends who started preparing, say, 15 days ago, okay, one fortnight ago, and they have garnered very fast, very good ranks and marks. Yeah, yeah. So there are also
but
some
there is not
questions.
like a
Yeah.
there's not a particular track that we are supposed to follow. It's like an open field, and it's too much confusing, right? You have to read this, but there is not a particular book that you're supposed to read. Then you have to cover this thing also, but there is not a particular book that you can take and read from cover to cover, and you'll be able to cover everything. It's like too much. That is what I was trying to say.
Yes. So that is what I mean. So the crash course thing is also, for example. So as you're right about that, there is so much. Someone wrote there is so much stress about it. There is indeed stress about it. So the crash course, what I intend to do is that, okay. So the meeting will end in what 2 minutes, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so what I intend to do is that to continuously put the students in the loop of informations. Okay, so for example, daily, I mean, we are going to meet in the crash course. So I think 5 days a week, or 3 days, 2 hours a week, or 5 days, 1 hour. That will decide later. So what the crash course will give you is that a confidence. So when you enter into the examination center, what you need most is the confidence that you have read, you have studied, you are into the discourse as much as anyone are in the examination center. Okay, so like whatever is coming up on a day-to-day basis, you need to be in a loop of information. That is extremely important. Okay, informations which is very up-to-date, informations which are like in history literature book, in the Indian literature context. Okay, so that is the thing that you need to be in the loop of informations. Yeah, hi. So the questions that am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, the questions that people wrote in the chat box, they are gone. So can you please just write once again? I mean, if there is any question. So yeah, as I was saying that, so the idea is to keep the students in continuous loop of information so that they get contextualized on a daily basis. So if some random names are asked, that okay, and they can directly situate it in the, in the in the particular ages, the literary age, and their writings, their own peers, like the writer's peers. So so that a fundamental ground is made, and on that you can just build on that with information. Then you can mug up informations, but the ground is extremely important. And for that, I think guidance is needed also. And I forgot to mention one thing, that is the two sheer short questions that are bound to come. That is from the literary awards sections, right? So, who won the Nobel Prize? Who won the Paine Hemingway Prize? Who won the Sahitya Academy? Who won the Man Booker Prize? Who won the International Booker Prize? And International Booker Prize is given to the non-English works and in translations, basically. So, who is the translators? Who are the translators of these works which have won the uh, International Booker Prize, and also who won the Gyanpith Puraskar, who won the Magsaysay Prize, who won the Pulitzer Prize, right? So this entire catalog of literary awards, you have to look into the current as well as, so you can see the 2025 previous year questionnaire, which we also intend to analyze and put on YouTube soon. So you can see that there they are the chronology of the recipients of the Nobel Awards. So you not only have to track record and keep a record of who won the Nobel Prize, who won these prizes recently, but also the constitution of these awards altogether. That what are the eligibility criteria of these awards, right? And of course the chronology of this awards, that who is, so just take it as a trivia, as a quiz kind of thing, that who is the youngest recipient of Nobel Prize, who is the first woman writer to won the Nobel Prize, who is the first Asian writer, who is the first African writer, who is the first American writer. So this kind of trivia that you have to get yourself into, and the crash course is trying to provide you this kind of things, that so on a daily basis, I mean, we'll meet on, so in other platforms, I think most of the classes are recorded, or it is material based, but here I think I'm trying to focus on a very daily, personalized, one is to one, and a very close setup daily live classes are there, so that whatever informations that I have gathered through different kind of sections, and of course each of you have gathered, and you can share with ourselves, and I will share with you, and I'll provide you like notes I mean, regarding these things, and whatever books that I have followed, I was given by my professors, but I mean I was shared with my peers also. So I'll just share with them also. And so somebody asked like, uh, this one, yeah. Uh, how will you teach in the crash course? So, and what is the strategy for the crash course? So, we intend to do live classes. So, for the next couple of months, we'll do live classes. So, either 1 hour for 5 days, or say 2 hours for 3 days. That will depend on the consensus of the students' body that enroll themselves. And then of course there will be mock tests for each day, I think, or each sections. And then there will be 15 already 15 crash I mean complete 75 question tests have been uploaded in the app, that is the Dream University app. I will upload 15 more. So there will be 30, that is 30 solid, um, I mean, questionnaire, that is the mock test that you can say, for the full mock test, 75 questions. That will be there in the app, that you can attempt in a real life kind of situation. And there will be, 30 section wise tests have been already uploaded in the app. 15 more will be uploaded soon, so almost 50. So this is a huge tests, a huge number of tests are there. We will attempt those, and on a live basis, we will discuss things. And one thing that we often do is that, okay, we are reading it, we have to balance it with the semester thing also. The semester is also going on. For those who have taken a drop, that is another matter. But for those who are current year students, currently in bachelor program, that is a very difficult thing to balance bachelor's curriculum as well as CBT PG's preparation. So these live classes are extremely important, I think, to get yourself again back into the loop of informations, that one can say. And the thing is that at the end of the crash course, I think you will have a confidence that, okay, you are well equipped, you are well armored with the informations that you need for the confidence that you need to face good ranks, I guess. So that is basically the strategy to engage. I mean, one is to one situation, personalized guidance, that you can say in a very technical term. But yeah, how many months did you give fully to crack the exam? I was very fortunate to read one of the very premier institution in Bengal, a premier English department in Bengal, Ramakrishna Mission Residential College. So we didn't have to give that much of preparatory time or for that exam per se. Our faculties were so much devoted for the entire 3 years. We had 3 years of bachelor, so that we did not have to give that much. But yeah, so if you say started reading for the exam, so I started reading for the exam say 20 days ago. So yeah, that might seem unbelievable, but yeah, 20 days I gave. There are many friends who are in our batch in masters who gave, I said, one fortnight, 15 days. Okay, because as I said, that the CBT PG is not going to measure the depth of your knowledge, but rather the width of your knowledge, and how broaden your horizon is, how much are you in love with literature. So if you are actually with literature, I don't think that it is going to be very hard, toiled path towards the exam. I want to know about what all you will cover in the course. Will there be a structure? So no, I don't think there will be that much of structure, because as someone said, right, that it is a kind of open field where diverse kind of forces are at play. There will not be a structure. So there will be structure in a sense that we'll go age by age, but we'll not stick to that age only when we are dealing with it on one particular day, I say. For example, we'll cover, see, at the end we cannot teach you. So I'm not going to teach you. You are, say, of my age. Some of you might be older than me. I'm not going to teach you something. What I'm going to guide is the best word one can say, okay, or sharing one's knowledge, or that one has gathered from different kind of sources. So what I'm going to do is that we'll take each ages, and I'll share informations, I'll share say pages of the books that I have. I'll share you my own say detailed notes, and then you have to study that, and you have to appear for the questionnaire, you have to appear for the mock test that will be uploaded in the app. Dream University app, you have to appear for that. And on the same day, I'll try to talk about, I'm not using the word teach, talk about the criticism part from on, because criticism is a huge part, as I said, and you must know that criticism is a huge part. One cannot possibly teach the history of English literature, say, for example, right? One cannot teach that Matthew Arnold wrote this. One cannot teach T.S. Eliot wrote this. That you have to memorize yourselves, right? What one can actually talk about is the criticism and the theory part, basic theoretical structures part, and the criticism part. And of course, talk about whatever is going on right now, whatever has gone, whatever has happened in the say 2 years back. It's very current affairs in the English literature domain that we'll talk about on a daily basis. Okay, so that you have the idea. And the ultimate aim of this crash course is, again, as I'm repeating myself, that is to build a confidence that it is. I think in most of the students, this is the thing that is lacking. I have seen toppers. I mean, I've seen literal toppers. Okay, toppers of the university, of the I mean, bachelor colleges. They have not been able to score good marks, but they were like bookworms. They were the devourers of books. They had, so one of our classmates read like 15 history and literature book, but he could not fetch a good rank. The thing is that also where to draw the line. That is the thing, that you cannot absolutely plunge yourself into this huge, unlimited, domain. I mean, or the ocean of knowledge that we have been encountered with. So you have to also understand where to draw a line without compromising the sincerity of the issues that are at stake. So yeah, there will be a structure, but on a given day we'll discuss a lot of things, and at the end that will matter. As the course, as the exam comes near, you will have to mix everything up so that your brain gets trained that anything. So for example, two questions straight from the history of literature, and the third question straight comes from some entirely different linguistic discourse or entirely different film discourse in the exam. So this is also to train you, in that sense. What constitutes awareness of current literary trends? Should we focus primarily on major awards like Nobel, Booker, Sahitya Akademi from the last 2 3 years? Yeah, I mean, that precisely so. But also, when we say trends, who is translating which book? Okay, that is also important. Which autobiography is coming out recently? Which biographies are coming out recent? For example, recently a lot of have been again and again retake pages, Octavio Paz's came out on his visit to India. So he was an ambassador, and he spent significant amount of time in India, and he's hello. Am I audible? Is there someone saying?
Now you are audible. Your
There
voice was
seems
breaking
to be some
previously.
glitch, I guess.
Somdeb, please check your network. I think your network is weak. That is the issue.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, yeah, some glitch happened, I guess, and I got locked out. So anyway, so as I was saying that, so regarding the recent trends that we are talking about, so what kind of biographies are coming out? What kind of autobiographies are coming out? Who are the recent translators of the recent works? A lot of say Adivashi literature is coming out. A lot of Dalit literature is coming out. So the books that are coming out and their translators, literary awards, and of course, awards. As I said, the criteria of the awards, and also in which of the languages is the award being offered. Okay, the monetary, even the monetary thing, that how much money is associated with the award. So these are all are important, and these all constitute the recent trends, I think. Yeah. Uh, how much percentage does CVT PG covers of net exam? I mean, how much is of net exam in general, like? How much is? Okay, so I mean, the general dogma that is there among the students. So, if someone is preparing for UGC NET exam, CVT PG is a very cakewalk. But the questions that are asked in the two, I mean, examinations, that are completely, not completely, but lot of differences there. So, if someone is preparing for CVT PG very sincerely, a lot of, I mean, questions, I mean, a lot of hard work is already done there. I think the base is there, but but UGC net requires a lot of much more deep, in-depth, literary theoretical understanding and literary theoretical I mean, engagement with the subject. And then of course there is this overwhelming chronological questions that looms large in UGC net, which is not there that much in CVT PG. So that is there. And UGC net, that it does not have any negative marking. So of now, CVT PG, I think, has negative marks. So, but percentage wise, one cannot say an exact percentage, but CVT, if someone is preparing sincerely for CVT PG, it helps one for, I mean, preparing the ground base, I think, for the UGC net. Yeah. Again, somebody wrote some questions, but that went off, I think, because I logged out. So one can, I mean, please again write the questions if somebody's questions are, I mean, they have remained unanswered. So yeah. Any question, any queries regarding anything, preparation, crash course, everything? How does it feel doing PhD in JNU? I mean, yeah, it's a liberal environment, liberal academic environment. Yeah, so you don't have to, like in IITs, you have to, in spite of being, um, in spite of being PhD students in humanities, in IITs, I think you have to, and you know, enter the institution with a biometric lock system every day. In JNU, we don't have that, so it's a liberal academic situation till now, I think. So it's okay. It has not sunk in yet. First year, so maybe from the second year when the synopsis writing starts, then it might be. I don't know. Yeah, I already have Aryan books. Should we attempt the questions of focus? No, no, yes. Right now, because as I said, 2 months are left, so you should not attempt the Aryan books questions, because they are meant for net, and they are not only meant for UGC net, but some of the questions are outrageous questions. Not even in UGC net, these kind of questions are asked. Okay, so I would suggest not to attempt right now, not to attempt the UGC Aryan's net questionnaires and the exercises that are there. But you should rather focus strictly on CVT PG level questions, and maybe attempt a little bit higher for the CVT PG level, but not certainly. You don't have to. I mean, attempt the questions of the UGC Aryan net, I mean, paper 2 book. So tell about South Indian universities and which city is better in South India. Okay, so I mean, if somebody asks me my personal opinion, and almost, I mean, everyone's, I guess, is, so for MA, I think I mean, you can just arrange the universities like this, but it will depend on personal choice as well, for different, for the city locations and some other factors also. For me, I think it is JNU, then Hyderabad Central University, then Delhi University is main campus, then there is Jamia department is excellent. I mean, yeah, and then there is FLU Hyderabad, then there is Pondicherry University, then there is BHU. So these are the universities which are under CVT PG currently that you should eye for. Jamia is not under CVT PG, but other universities are. So you should eye for that. So JNU, ACU, Hyderabad Central University, Delhi University main campus, Jamia Millia Islamia, FLU English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad campus, Pondicherry University, and then BHU. So these are the things. The chronological, I mean, descending order, you can say. Can we please know your score of CVT? So in our time, it was in 400 out. So out of 75 questions, the domain I got 253. So in our so out of 300, I got 253, and ours were two shift exam. So our questions were a little bit tough, and the next batch, next set of questions, which so the students who appeared in this next set of exam on the CVT PG 2023, their questions were a little bit easier. So we had this normalization, and I think my score went up to 270 cross, I think. But my original score based on the question that I was given in the first set of CVT PG 2020 due to normalization, because there was, yeah. So experience in JNU is excellent, excellent. Yeah, JNU is JNU. Yeah. Sir, can you suggest from where we should or we can attempt more and more mocks? Okay, so so one thing that we are offering, we ourselves are offering this mock test. Otherwise, there are books actually. So what many platforms, not there are not many platforms regarding CVT PG, I guess. There are some platforms for UGC.net, but CVT PG, I don't think there are so many platforms. There are 2 or 3 platforms that I know. But what I have seen that they all try to, I mean, inculcate questions from the net standard, just to show you that, okay, see, our question standard is this much. So we are providing elite kind of a thing. But again, I was think, yeah, uh, Jahir, I think, asked that should we attempt the net level questions. So that is what, coming back to your question. So yeah, yeah, that I was going to say that. Yeah. So Oswald questions bank is there. There is also this one question bank of I think that publication. Uh, Not S Chand, but I think Truman's book is also there. There is definitely this R some, yeah, I don't exactly remember right now, but there are 2 or 3 publications like Arian. They publish this CVT mock test questions. Yeah, R Gupta, yeah, exactly. It's R Gupta. R Gupta is there, but R Gupta's book is not that good. I mean, if you yourself see it, it's not that good. Truman is there, I think. R Gupta is there. Oswald is there. So yeah, they are of these few things. Yeah. But as I said that you have to, sir, MS evidence resolution terms is sufficient. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. MS evidence, as I said, is more than enough. More than enough. You don't even have to gloss through the entire glossary, for example. Yeah. Any other questions?
So how much do you charge for this course, and how do someone join this?
Yeah, so I think Shailendra Bhaiya, are you there?
Yes, yes. Sahil, basically, we'll
Yeah, yeah. So
share every information in our Telegram channel. So you'll get every information there only.
Okay, thank you.
It will like we'll launch it today itself. Like we'll provide the information in your Telegram channel. You are in the Telegram channel, right? Have you joined it?
Yeah, I joined yesterday.
Okay, okay. You will get every information there. There or WhatsApp channel. We also have a WhatsApp channel.
yeah.
In both the channels, I'll send the information regarding our upcoming crash course and test series also.
Okay, done.
The basic function about the crash course is that, as I said, there are two
Somdeep,
or
your
three
voice is
things. Okay, the
breaking.
first thing
Is
is
it
that
for
to
me
keep
or
you
is it for everyone?
continuously in the loop of information. Okay, is it clear now? Hello.
Now I think, yeah, now it's clear, I guess.
Okay, so as I said, so the crash course offers two, three main aspects. So one thing is that it will try to keep a student or aspirant, in constant loop of the informations regarding the canonical, classical history of English literature, beat by the recent trends that are there. Second is that to deburden once from that. Bachelor's program curriculum. Okay, so one can simultaneously look into their BA program as well without feeling overburdened about the CVT PG. I mean, preparation, because as I said that if one gives 2 hours daily for the next 60 days, one can actually crack and fetch very very good rank. So there are examples for that, and they are not some like superly having super IQ students. They are very very, I mean, day-to-day students like us. So they also have got very good marks. So that is thing. And third thing is that mock test. This the platform Dream University, this is offering a lot of mock tests. As I said, 15 full-fledged 75 questions mock tests are already there. No other platform has offered you 75 full-fledged questions, 15 total, 15 full-fledged mock tests, and I am intending to upload 10 more. Okay, so that is a thing. So these three are basic tenets of the crash course that I'm intending to offer, and it is at all not hierarchical, as I say. So because there will be many students who are of my same age, maybe even older than me. So there is no hierarchy. It is kind of sharing of information, sharing of whatever knowledge that we have in a common platform, different plays of forces that I said. So yeah, and okay, somebody asked, sir, can you share your notes which will prove to be very helpful entrance, especially for admission JNU, please? Yeah, yeah, that is what I intended. There was no notes, as I said. So as I said, I got very lucky regarding my graduation college department. So they would directly feed you the things that I studied in a very residential college. So it is a very great department. So, but eventually, yes. For example, the literary awards things. I'll make the list and I'll provide it. For example, the translation thing. Like for example, there are so many translations. Translation daily, on a daily basis they're happening. And in JNU I have come across so many new translations of so many canonical text. Okay, so I'll try to make a list and I'll provide that, of course. Then there is this literary terms, but literary theoretical terms, okay, that are important. So for that you do not have to go in depth study of the literary theory, which is a very very hard, so-called hard part of the literary studies right now. So the theoretical list that I have, I'll provide it to you. And then, of course, as I said, not every history of English literature book has everything, right? So I'll scan pages and I'll send it to the WhatsApp group that we formed during the course. That thing is that I'll make you read, because I will ask you one by one. That is a personalized kind of thing. 1:1 kind of setting it will have at some point of time, and I'll ask you think that are you reading or not. Yeah, so I'll make you read. That is the thing. I'll try to pit it. That is to put you in a continuous, constant loop of information that I intend to do. Yeah. So, are there any other valued universities for masters that do not come under CUTPG? Yes, yes. For example, in Bengal, Jadavpur University's department is extremely good. There is also a slogan that goes, if not JNU, then JU, Jadavpur University. Jadavpur University conducts their own tests. There is not MCQ. There is a like broad question and answer, subjective questions. So Jadavpur University is there, Jamia Millia Islamia is there, which does not come under CVT PG. They have their own entrance test. Then there is Vishwa Bharati in West Bengal, which is a great, studies also. Okay. So Dhaka University is a private university. So if you have money, you can go and check out their courses as well. So yeah. So these are the Jadavpur is there, Vishwabharati is there, Jamia, Jadavpur, Jamia, Vishwabharati, they are there, I think, who do not come under CBT-PG. It says second preference according to FLU or DU. No, second preference is HCU, Hyderabad Central University. So first JNU, second is HCU, third is DU main campus, fourth is FLU, fifth is Pondicherry University, sixth is BHU. Yeah. And if in between that, if you get Jadavpur or Vishwabharati or Jamia, please go there. Yeah. South Indian University, Hyderabad University, and other ones are Pondicherry University is there. Yeah. PU. Pondicherry. Yeah. And FLU is English and Foreign Language University. There are three campuses. One is in Hyderabad, one is in Lucknow, and one is in, I think, Shillong. I think. So I think the Hyderabad one. Yeah, not Shillong or Lucknow one. They are not that good. Yeah.
Somdeb, can I mention something?
Yes, yes, sure.
You said something beautiful that I will make you read. Personally, that's what I need, right? I need guidance. Like, you
Yes.
tell me, "Hey, read this for next 2 days, and I will do it." Right? So that is beautiful, and that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that I
Because the
also
current
like.
generation is,
The
until
thing is
you
that
don't
in
pressure
JNU,
them,
I
they
mean,
won't
we
do
have
anything.
class. Yes, yes, absolutely. That is what I also believe. I mean, even in our bachelor's college, we were to read, like, it was very strict, disciplined college. Yeah. Anyway, so what I'm saying that in JNU, we also have this class presentations. Okay. So, in one of the courses, you must have like Oxford return and everything. And she's one of the stalwart figure in modernism studies in India. So, she offered a course on modernism. Okay. And she, in the very opening class, she asked that how many of you are into poetry, modernist poetry, and a lot of people said that they do not like poetry so much. So I presented on one of the, I mean, cultish modernist poet, Gertrude Stein, if you have heard her name. So, and I told the class that I'd make you read poems from now on, and everybody started laughing because and clapping because perhaps they do not read poems because they have not been, they have not encountered these authors that much. So yeah, I read out a lot of poems that day in the class itself. So yeah, my strategy is also, as I said, it's a personalized kind of thing. Yeah, it's not about that much. I mean, money based, but yeah. Anyway, anything else you guys want to ask? Anything?
I just want to say our JNU dream is on you now.
Okay. Yeah, you guys have to read yourselves. That is the thing. I can provide guidance, but the ultimate task is on you. That whether you
Yeah, that
put
that's
that
what
two
we
hours.
need, right? You tell us what to do, we will do.
Yeah. Yes, yes. That I was saying that I'll tell you everything like what is there to be. I mean, one can provide you the like armors, like other like yeah, the arrows, but at the end, you have to like fight the war yourselves. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it was for UGC net, then a lot of pressure would be on me because for the net, if somebody is providing guidance on UGC net, then a lot of pressures will be on that person who is providing that guidance because then one has to literally, teach the literary theory part. But here, as I said, literary theory is you should just be aware. You should know the basic structure, basic parts, very uh, overtly explicable parts of the literary theory, not in depth. But literary criticism part, you have to read a lot. And for example, there's so many essays written by all these great authors. They're on their personal account. Like for D.H. Lawrence wrote a lot of critical essays. Now, if somebody just quotes some one line out of this all of these essays, how can someone like know all these things, right? So that burden is on me to make you acclimatize with this text, acclimatize with their context. But at the end, you have to memorize things. At the end, a lot of things on how much you invest. And I'm asking for 2 hours a day. That is what I'm asking. If you are hell bent into coming into JNU or these so-called elite universities, you have to invest 2 hours a day at least. At least, yeah, yeah. So, somebody please be our break in the chat. Okay, yeah, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'll try my best. Yeah. Anything else? Anything?
Hello. I think Somdev, you
If you have
are,
any question that might seem very silly to you, you can also ask. Like, right.
I think Somdev, you answered
Hello.
all the questions. Also, I would like to inform you about the crash
Okay.
course. Crash course,
Okay.
most probably we'll be launching it today itself, and the classes will start in a day or two. Apart from like you will be getting test series complimentary with that course, and also the previous the recorded that course which Somdev took last to last year, that will be like provided there. If you want to, if that is of any use to you, you can use that also. Rest live classes will be conducted regularly. The other information regarding fees and all I will share in the Telegram channel only, so you can take it. It will be available on our application, Dream University application. You can install that application from Play Store. If you use iPhone, then you have to install Class Plus application, then enter the organization code POTDO. Then you can access the Dream University application for iPhone users. Okay. Rest, my phone number will be given to you guys in the Telegram channel. You can ask me anything regarding the course test series or anything. Also, we'll be conducting such webinars every Sunday probably till our course, if Somdev have time. Okay. Okay, then if you have any other question, we have 2 minutes left. You can
We'll
ask.
also try to break down the.
I just have one last question
Yes.
before we hop off. I just want to say, in this crash course, are we going to start from like zero, from the basics?
Somdev, would you like to answer?
No, 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 not exactly ground zero level, but say, I mean, what do you mean by ground zero? I think, I mean, I don't understand. Like, what do you mean by
Like
ground zero?
if
Uh,
like someone who hasn't a lot of knowledge about English literature, so is he supposed to join this crash course?
okay.
Not like that
Yeah,
zero,
because so
somebody
we
who
are
is
so for the no, no, for
please you can continue.
example, those who are already like well into the literary, I mean, studies and everything, as you said. So for them also, the for the test series alone, this crash course is important, I think, because no other platform is offering you, let alone, I mean, 25, so already 15 full-fledged test series are there. I am adding 10 more, so 25 full-fledged test series. There is nobody is offering you that. With the individual section-wise test series, okay, that is on the Elizabethan age, on the Victorian age, on the modern age. There is also section wise age. Okay, I mean test series. Nobody's for the test series alone. One should take it. And the thing is that there is all. I mean, of course, there is so many things to learn on a new day-to-day basis. Okay, so as I said, so many things are coming up nowadays. So to get oneself up to date, I think one should. I mean, take it. I don't know. I mean, that is all up to them, I think. I
Okay,
mean, whether they
Somdev.
should take it or not,
Somdev, I
because
think the
yeah,
meeting is about to end. So thank you all guys to join,
okay,
and thank you Somdev
yeah. Thank you, thank you.
answer all the queries. Thank you everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
thank you. All the best. Yeah.